Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So you want to know how much it's going to cost to own one of these bad boys? Let's get straight into it. So, first things first, you're going to need to buy yourself a Corsa VXR. Now, a lower priced one, you're probably looking about between 3 and 4 grand at the current time of making this video, and that's probably like one of the first ones made sort of thing. So you're looking between like 2007 to 2009, and you're probably looking between about 80k miles plus. I mean, some of them are like either will go on, don't get me wrong. Mine is a 2008 with over 100k on the clock, and this camera is vibrating like crazy, so sorry for that. And a higher price one, you're looking between about 7 and 8 grand, and then that's where you're looking at like 2011, 2012, and I think they go up to 14. And I think at the current time of making this video, there is a 2011 one with 15,000 miles on it, and I think that's at about £8,000. So you are looking between £7,000 and £8,000 if you do want to get a newer one with low mileage, which in the grand scheme of things isn't too bad. Shows that they are holding their value. But obviously once you start building mileage and they do start getting older like mine now, then it does drop down to about the between 3 and 4 grand price category. So let's talk about the bit that nobody likes when it comes to buying a car and yearly. Insurance. Obviously, being a popular boy racer car, it's a 1.6 petrol turbo with just shy of 200 brake horsepower. Insurance companies tend to have a bit of a payday with them, so they quite like it when us young people buy these. Us personally, we don't really like paying, but they're not too bad, to be fair. I mean, I'm currently got an open claim on mine because a bus turned into me and they're just trying to go split liability, even though I had nothing to do with it. So at the minute, I technically have no claims discount, and I'm 24, and it come in at about 750 quid for the year, which isn't too bad in the grand scheme of things. But if you're probably between the ages of 17 and 20, you probably are looking more between 1,500, 2 grand. Obviously a lot of things come into play, like what job you do, where you live, that all comes into play with insurance companies. So I can't really give precise figures on that, but my personal experience of insurance companies on my Corsa, it's not been too bad. I think the most I paid was the first year, and I think I paid just over 800 quid for the year. So I don't really mind that, because I hate paying more than a grand on insurance. So yeah, not much I could say about insurance because it differs between person to person, but hopefully that gives you a rough idea. And if you're a similar age bracket and have no claims than me, obviously, because I currently have none while this claim's open, which is annoying. So after you've done your insurance, the next yearly thing you need to worry about is your road tax. Now, road tax on one of these is a bit of a killer. It's about £300 for the year, and I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it goes up £5 every year. Yeah, I do believe mine's currently like 310 for the year, and it costs me monthly about £25 a month, which is quite a lot. To say my first car I used to pay about £12 a month, I think. So it's doubled just because I wanted a VXR. So yeah, road tax roughly about 300 quid, 305, that sort of area. So let's talk about petrol. So I currently have just under a quarter of a tank left, and as you can see, I've got 61 miles left, and I average about 31.1 miles to the gallon. That is over the last 4,200 miles because I always forget to reset it. and if we go down over the last 4,200 miles, the same amount of miles, I've averaged 31.8. So obviously, with this being my daily car, I don't tend to rag it around all the time. Obviously I do on and off because it's a VXR and you're supposed to have fun with it. But obviously, when you've got your foot all the way down, your instant consumption is about 7 mpg. But if you're just cruising down the motorway at about 70 miles an hour, your instant consumption's between 40 and 60 mpg. So you can always make back what you lost when you was having a bit of fun. Now I do 30 miles a day to and from work, and there's a bit of motorway, there's a bit of town driving. Like, there's a decent mixture on me from my house to work and from work to my house. I put roughly about £30 a week in. It does tend to last me the week. It gives me about 3/4 of the tank, which, to be fair, isn't too bad, because I think when I had the car before this, I had an Astra 1.6, I used to put £25 a week in, and I used to get the same. So for an extra £5 a week, £20 a month, I'm running a VXR with the same engine, just turboed, over my Astra. So hopefully that's given you a rough idea on how much it's going to cost you in fuel. Obviously, don't take those figures as exact, because everybody drives different and everyone's fuel consumption is either going to be higher than mine or lower than mine. So it all depends on how you drive, and how much you drive is how good your fuel is going to be, pretty much. So yeah. So finally, let's talk about servicing. Now, I'm basing these prices on if you was doing it yourself. If you are taking it for somewhere else to do it, obviously you're gonna have to take into account labour prices. I know you're looking probably about 100 quid, shaking a lot, about 100 quid for main dealer labour prices. I'm not sure with like backstreet prices, backstreet garages I mean. So yeah, let's talk that. So for an air filter, if you haven't got a cone filter on it, obviously, for NGK spark plugs, because that's what people tend to recommend, an oil filter and a pollen filter. And with oil, Vauxhall recommend to use Dexos 2 oil in all of their petrol turbo cars. So that's what I tend to use in mine, so that's what I'm gonna use in this pricing. So you're looking at about 200 quid, because I believe 4 NGK plugs works out at about 100 quid. They're saying like £25 a plug, something like that. So yeah, so let's work this out as a yearly figure, and let's say you've brought the Corsa, so we'll take the price of the car out of it. So you got, let's say, £1,000 for insurance. Let's meet in the middle. We'll go with £30 a week fuel, so 30 times 52, roughly about 1,500. So there's 2.5, and then you got your £200 for a service. It's 2,700. So yeah, between probably about £2,000, £3,000 is how much it will cost you yearly to own a Corsa VXR. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you if you're looking to buy one and you want to know how much it's going to cost you to run it, basically. This video has been a bit all over the place. It's me starting outside the car, me driving, me parked up, me driving, me parked up. But hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.